Wonderful. Hi, thank you all for joining. I am Jen Bickerstaff, and I lead QuickBooks Time as our segment, as well as our QuickBooks Workforce product. And I'm joined here today by Calvin and Mike, and we are here to share with you some of the big updates that we have made to QuickBooks Time, as well as QuickBooks Workforce, so that you are well informed and aware of all the exciting changes we have shipped recently, and also have a time to ask any and all questions of us as some of the product leaders here. So with that, what I'd love to do is maybe just transition to the two topics we're going to be talking about, which are twofold. The first is about QuickBooks Time. QuickBooks Time has been a product that for many years we have had in the market, and many of you on this stream use. And what is it? It's a very robust product to manage the team that you have, your people, manage the projects that they're working on, generate billable time to get your business paid, and most importantly, to pay your team. Time is a very important ingredient of all of those things. And so this product helps you do that. And today we're here to talk to you about a huge change that we've made in this experience, where what we heard from you was that, hey, you've changed the name to QuickBooks Time. It was originally T-Sheets before Intuit acquired this awesome product. And we've changed the name to QuickBooks Time, but it remained separate from the rest of QuickBooks. And you said, hey, it's really time consuming and annoying to hop between one and the other. And so what you're going to see today from Mike is a lot of product innovation that combines the two. It brings robust time functionality inside of the QuickBooks Online ecosystem. And with that comes some product enhancements, particularly in the look and feel of the functionality, so that if you're familiar with using QuickBooks Online, this time tracking will look and feel a whole lot like what you're used to using in the rest of the product. So that's some big changes that you're going to see soon from Mike. And second, we will also be sharing some big changes for our employees. And here we're talking about QuickBooks Workforce. Now, one of the big changes that we made, just to state the obvious, is we changed the name of what employees work with. Originally, this was called QuickBooks Time, our mobile app. And we decided to change the name of this product to QuickBooks Workforce, thus signifying that the app does far more than just track your time. Now, don't get me wrong, still tracks your time, and we are always improving on how we track time so that we are the best at enabling you to track your team's time. But we've also expanded this such that if your business is using QuickBooks Time to track your team's time and using QuickBooks Payroll to pay them, the app for your employees expands with them, such that not only can they track their time, but in the same app, they can see their pay. And this too came from a lot of feedback that we heard from you that, hey, my team doesn't track their time just for the sake of tracking their time. They want to know, do they need to work another shift? How is their work translating into what they're getting paid? And so what we've done is we've expanded this app, QuickBooks Workforce, to encompass both. You can track your time, but you can also view your pay, and as well as some W-2 and a tax form information, all in one app. Also helping limit the number of different tools that your employees have to juggle between, which is also something that we heard loud and clear from you. So what you're going to see today is all grounded in what we've heard from you as feedback. But don't get me wrong, we aren't done listening to you. We are continuing to listen to you. In fact, this is one of the big reasons we chose to come talk to you today, is to continue to hear what questions do you have? What could we continue to do to improve going further? Our job is not done. It is just beginning. And so looking forward to sharing with you what is new, and hearing your thoughts, hearing your questions, and continuing in this dialogue, both in this session and beyond. So with that, I am joined. So I've introduced our topics, what we're going to talk about. Next, I'd like to introduce our presenters who is joining me. So as I mentioned, I'm Jen. I am our Vice President of QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Workforce. And I'm joined here by Mike Hagman and Kelvin. And Mike and Kelvin are two group product managers, leaders for QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Workforce. Mike specifically is focused on QuickBooks Time and our admin and business owner experience. And Kelvin is focused on QuickBooks Workforce for our workers, our employees, and particularly our mobile app experiences. And so just to reinforce, so this is not us just talking at you, although admittedly, like the stream format is us talking at you, but we want to do our best to make it a dialogue. And so I would love if you would please use the comments. I've been seeing a few come in already, but just to kind of warm us up to using the comments, I'd like to start out with some intros of just where are we, and invite you to share where are you joining us from. So I'm Jen, I'm in Boise. I've got Mike also in Boise, Idaho. I've got Kelvin in California. And please drop into the comments, where are you calling in from today? Where are you listening from? Just to kind of get that warm up of comments going. And please do engage with us throughout. We will have demo time from Mike, followed by Kelvin. And then we will have Q&A time at the end. So know that if you drop in a comment, we're not ignoring you. We will address them toward the end of our session. So with that, I'm going to hand it to Mike.
Kevin, I think we're going to let you go first, right? I think that's okay. I think we're going to let him go first, but we're all in this together. It'll be fine.
Take it away.
All right, so I've got an awesome demo for you all today. So just wanted to introduce myself. Jen already introduced me, but for everyone that recently just joined, my name is Kelvin, and I'm a product manager working on our QuickBooks Workforce mobile app. You've heard Jen mention that previously it was called the QuickBooks Time mobile app, and the new Workforce name reflects our vision to provide businesses and their employees with a robust human capital management platform to manage their work, pay, and benefits in one place. So you'll see the app helps employers manage and take care of their teams. So employers can actually spend less time chasing timesheets and pay stubs and more time growing their businesses. And so today I would love to share a demo of how our QuickBooks Workforce mobile app helps teams get work done and manage their pay in one place. And so to do that, I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to see a QuickTime player that is going to show up in just a few. And I'm looking at the comments right now. So if anyone can't see that, please let me know. It's going to go live in just a few moments. Okay, can someone put in the comments to see if they can see the screen?
We don't see it yet, Kelvin. It's coming. We see your beautiful corgis.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so there you go. All right, so I see the screen share here, and this is basically my phone. So you'll have to excuse the background. I've got two dogs, one a corgi, one a Shiba Inu. The Shiba Inu is he's got a personality, but anyway, we're not here to talk about my dogs today. We're here to talk about the mobile app. So let's put ourselves into the shoes of a small business employee who works for a company that hires year-round interior decorators for residential and commercial buildings. I just started this month, and my manager gave me a really fun project to work on, decorating a corporate campus with Halloween decorations. And just as I'm about to arrive at the job site, I open up the QuickBooks Workforce mobile app, and at a glance, I can see the hours that I worked this week, the schedule that my supervisor set for me, the projects that I'm working on. I only have one so far, my time off balances, and my latest paycheck. And so as I head over to the track time tab, within a few seconds, I can actually clock into my project. So here, the time sheet actually starts at the minute mark. And the app is actually smart enough to recommend projects and customers based on my location, but also based on the customers that I've been working at. And so my supervisor also knows that I'm at the job site as well, as I'm required to share my location when I'm on the clock. With location services, my supervisor can swap shifts with my coworker if I have to leave my shift. And my supervisor can track my mileage on the company vehicle and even check up on me if I work in a rural area with a few people around. And so when I clock in, Workforce automatically creates a timesheet on my behalf. And as I work throughout the day, I can easily see from my lock screen the amount of time that I've worked so far, and take a break or clock out right from my phone's lock screen. So let's do that. And so when I clock out, I can add notes or even attach a photo of what I'm working on. So I'll add a note going live on Facebook. And boom, I've let my supervisor know that I'm actually going live on Facebook right now, doing this demo on the internet. So the app also lets me know what my day-to-day schedule will look like. And so basically it allows my supervisor to dispatch teams based on who's working that day. And I also see that I'm supposed to be in San Jose for my next shift. So I better head out soon. And oh yeah, I just got my first paycheck last week. And so as soon as my company runs payroll, I can easily see my pay stubs in the money tab. And so the money tab breaks down the paycheck based on net pay, taxes withheld, and any deductions such as 401k. I can drill into any of my paychecks and check out my most recent one. And so I can get all of this information without ever having to leave the app. And so once paycheck detail loads, I can see all the information that I would need to know. So regular pay, any overtime hours that I've accrued in the past pay period, as well as how much of the wages are going to taxes. I can also download the pay stub if I need to, and take a look and share this pay stub with whomever needs it. So like a loan officer or perhaps like a mortgage, someone who's dealing with mortgage. And so in addition to viewing time or tracking time and viewing my pay stubs, I can also see time off balances in the app and submit a request to my supervisor. And so when I go to the time off tab, I can also say, hey, I want to take time off sometime next week. And so in this case, I decided to take time off to celebrate Halloween with my furry kids. So that's tomorrow. Add a little emoji in there, submit that, and hopefully Mike approves it. So Mike, if you're listening and watching, please approve my PTO request. And so, with this app, I can actually easily submit PTO and let my supervisor know that, hey, you know what, I've got time off. I have time off plans, and my supervisor can easily approve that. And also in the app, I can update my coworkers and managers on the progress of my projects using the projects tab. And so I can go into the Halloween painting project that I have. I know I've got 5 hours left that I need to work, as well as I can put posts on the project. So, I'm just updating the teams on like what I've done so far, including making a very hard decision about choosing which pumpkin I want to, decorate the company with. So, got a lot of pumpkins. I got to choose from them. That's my problem. But going back to the projects tab, I can also see other projects that I'm working on and track my hours against those projects. And additionally, everything else in this app is also working for me. And so I've got notifications that can alert me when my schedules change. I can see who else is working on different shifts nearby. I can also see my tax form. So when it comes time to file my taxes and receive my W-2s, I can get that instantly in the mobile app without having to wait for it to come into the paper in the mail in a paper format. And I can easily file my taxes then and there. We know a lot of our employees are looking forward to getting their tax forms as soon as they can because their refunds are actually the biggest paycheck of the year. And so with this powerful mobile app in my pocket, I can get work done, see how much I've earned every shift and every pay period, and I've got all that I need to thrive in my company. And so I'll end by saying that there's more. We're constantly finding ways to consolidate the multiple tools that employees use throughout their workday to create better together experiences that not only connect the QuickBooks online ecosystem, but also across the Intuit ecosystem. So for one thing, I am most excited about expense management and benefits coming later on. So really wanted to appreciate and thank you guys for listening to my demo today. Excited to review all the comments in the chat, and thank you so much. Mike, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Calvin. Can you hear me? Can I get? I think hopefully you guys can hear me. So I'm Mike Hagman. Jen and Kelvin already introduced me. I'm the third member of the gang here. I'm going to really walk you through, as I bring up my screen here, I'm going to really walk you through the admin business owner experience and kind of show you the downstream of what Kelvin just showed you. So let me make sure I get my screen shared here. Okay. Now, everything that I'm going to show you today is inside of QuickBooks. Okay, so nothing I'm going to show you today is, some of you are familiar with potentially QuickBooks Time, the classic version of it. And this is all going to be inside QuickBooks. So I know there were some questions at the beginning about desktop and QBO, and everything's going to be inside QuickBooks today. Okay, so a couple things to just kind of draw your attention because there's a lot on the screen. And this is available today. Mostly, a couple things I'm showing you are going to be released pretty soon, but they're very similar to what they look like today if you went into your account today, if you have an existing account, okay? So what are we looking at? So right now I'm on, obviously in QuickBooks, I'm on the time tab just to kind of orient you to where we're at. And there's 6 different tabs that live inside here: overview, time entries, time team assignments, time off, and time reports. Now, what you can do inside of QuickBooks now is really, from a business owner, from an admin perspective, is really manage time. The core workflows that you're going to do every day. We don't see your screen. Hold on. I am sharing my screen. It says start sharing. Let me look. I'm going to stop and reshare it here, okay? So stand by. You guys don't see my screen. Oh, sounds like you do see the screen now. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Sounds like we've got it now. Okay. So like I said, I'm in time. You've oriented you here. And you've got new time tabs that are up across the top here, all 6 of them. Now inside of here, you're going to be able to manage time. So what does that mean? You're going to be doing things like, if you want to enter time manually as an admin for your workers or for yourself, you want to review time that comes in, you want to edit time, and ultimately you want to approve time that can be used obviously for payroll, and then it can flow to other services like your projects or your invoicing or labor cost analysis, things like that. All that can be done inside here. At the end, I'm going to show you a little bit about all the tabs where we have a better onboarding experience now to get you set up. We have other things in here like being able to invite workers, scheduling, who's working, those types of things. We'll save those for the very end, but we're going to walk through a core workflow here about just editing time and getting to approvals based on what Kelvin just shared. Okay, so right here is the time tab. So this is where your time comes in from the mobile app, the Workforce app. So if you just saw Kelvin's demo here on the screen. Here's the entries that he just put in, right? This is the last one that he just stuck on here, right? So he just clocked in and clocked out, so it's only a minute's worth of time. But you can see it seamlessly flows in here. Now, this is what you're looking at is everybody that's clocked in today. I've got a date range up here, and it looks to today. Now, I can change this date range to this week, or more conveniently, in some cases, this pay period or the last pay period, especially if you're going to run payroll, you just want to go to the last pay period, and I'll show you how that works in a second. This is all customizable to how your business runs. We talk to a lot of customers on a daily basis, and there are some similarities, but each of you have a different way to run your business or to manage it. This screen gives you flexibility to see the data how you want to see it. So, for example, today right now I'm just looking by date, okay, which happens to be today's date. But I could go back to, let's just go to last pay period, for example. And I want to answer questions. This is by date. So there's a whole bunch of data that's been put in here for last pay period. But maybe I just want to look at it based on customer, for example. So I want to see, hey, how much time has been billed to these particular customers that I have, so I can understand that. So Intuit Eagle, for example, if I want to see that, I can see the total hours, I can see the billable hours, but then I can easily just click on it and drill down and see exactly the details, who worked on it, all that sits here. And by the way, we can edit it inside of this window as well, right? I'm not going to do that for the sake of time, but it's all available to do that. Other things customized, you can see all your workers. Like if you just want to, summarize, and we're going to use this view when we start to approve time, but you can see how much time is each one of these workers done during that pay period. Now, you can even customize this further, right? Because there's the column selector out here to the right. You can choose what columns that you want. Another thing that I get that's a common question is, the time is being displayed in decimals. Well, if you want to see it in like hours and minutes, no problem. You can click over here and it'll change to hours and minutes. So once again, the flexibility to set this up how you want it to be set up. Okay, I'm going to stick it back to decimals just for demo sake. And then once again, from a customizability standpoint, you've got employees, you've got contractors, you've got vendors. So look at the data how you want to see it. Put the columns on there that you want to see it. And obviously, if you have more employees, you can obviously search by employee. That's all sits up here, right? And you can make those quick adjustments. This is type ahead search and make it really convenient for you, okay? Okay, so let's take a quick look at the time that Kelvin entered in a more deep scenario here, okay? So I'm gonna go by date because I just wanna look at it by date today. So here's the one he entered right here. And you can see things here like, well, since he's logging in from his mobile device and he's got his GPS going, you can click on him and see exactly where he's working from, which is what we talked about earlier. He's actually in California at the moment, okay? So that's a nice feature that you can tell where your folks are working from. If it was a job and you wanted to see like a picture and somebody got done with a particular job, here's one here of Mark Carter. This is just some demo data that we have, but hey, here's the signature that was signed off by the work, and hey, they worked on this cabinetry here and this got done. So you can attach, all that stuff comes from the mobile app and it flows all the way through into the admin portal, which is here, okay? Okay, so now that we know exactly we've got the right time, I want to show you there are ways to tell if you need to edit this time. You can edit it very quickly and very easily. So let's go to the last pay period just for grins so that we can get ready to run payroll. Okay, I want to quickly look at this. Okay, if I want to add some time to an employee that maybe didn't get their time added, there's several options over here on the right that allow you to do that. Number one is single time entry. Now, you're going to see when this pops up here on the right, it's a very easy way to add time for anybody. So let's say I wanted to add time for Kelvin. Now notice it also gives you things like, it tells you who's a contractor, who's an employee. Some of this data is really helpful for you. So here's Kelvin. I can go in here and I can add time. I can do a start and end time. I can do a duration, and I can choose exactly what day during that period we add time. So this is simple time entry, happens all the time. Which customers you see, and then you can hit save, and that will save it on the grid on the left. Okay, I'm not going to save it just for the sake of the demo. Now, if you want to do it at a weekly timesheet, so you want to do it a little bit more efficiently, a larger group of time instead of just adding one single time, you can certainly add it here. This is more of a grid view. Now let's look back, and you can see in this case, we can switch over to Kelvin again. In this case, once again, you can change the time at the top. This is the hours that were already entered, but you could very easily go in here and add, okay, here's the customer, and you could say, well, he worked 8 hours on a Saturday, okay? You could choose exactly, and you could save that as well. So it's really a way to do more bulk entry of time, and it's more convenient. The last way is the clock in, clock out experience. Most people are going to do it on the mobile app, like Kelvin just showed, but there is a way to clock in and clock out here. It's a similar experience to what you just saw on the mobile app, and I can clock in here as well. Now, speaking of clock in, once you do that, you can also then go back and see when people clocked in and clocked out right here, and you can see what we have is a little bit of anomaly detection, right? So in most cases, some of these people are working over 8 hours a day. Okay, so here's Mark Carter. I'll just pick on this one right here. It's over 8 hours. So we flagged that to draw your attention to it. I know he forgot to log out that day. He contacted me. So I can go in here and quickly edit that. And I can say, you know, he didn't work till 8. He worked only till 5 o'clock. There's 8, it was 8.5 hours that he worked. We can hit save. And now this has changed. So that's how you easily edit time. You get it prepared. You sort and filter the way you want to see it, so you can make sure everything's accurate for payroll to run. Okay, I've edited my time. I see it all here. I'm ready to to approve it so they can go on to the next step. So I can easily just hit approve time up here at the top. Okay. I'm in this pay period that we already chose, which is the last pay period. And here are my workers. Once again, here's the totals that you can see to make sure one last time. Now there's two different ways to approve time. One, you can do it individually. You can tell over here that these folks need their time approved. So if I click on this approve button, it will approve it for them. Or I could do them all at once. You could certainly approve them all at once. So if I click this button up here, it will select everybody and they can approve. Now I'm just going to approve James's just for the fun of it. I'll just approve one at a time, but you can do them all. It's no big deal. So let's go, James. I'm going to hit approve. I can either hit this approve button or I can hit the one up on the top. No problem. So now that data is being approved and it's being ready for, you'll now see this in the payroll workflow, and you'll also, or we're ready to run payroll for that particular person. So that's how easy it is. You edit in time, and you've done most of that within time entries. Now, this approval flow, you can also hit if you're more familiar with the payroll, if you're a payroll employee or a payroll subscriber, and you want to do it through the payroll workflow, you don't have to do it from the time workflow. You can go into the payroll side. So now I'm going to payroll. I'm going to the run payroll workflow, which is what I'm clicking on there. And you can see that same workflow in here. So for example, I'm on that pay period, the same pay period back in here. If I want to approve for any of these people, now James, I already did approve him. So you can actually see his hours sitting here in payroll that I already approved. There they are, that they came across. But let's say I want to do Andrew. I could certainly approve time here, and you'll get the same screen that we got before, where you can approve time here. So you can do that same workflow wherever makes sense in your workflow during the day. You can do it to the time tab, or you can just do it in your run payroll flow, and that's no problem. Okay. So that's really how quickly and easily that stuff can happen. I'm going to just quickly jump over and show you some other things that are inside the time tab other than time entries. Most of that was done in time entries. So super quick. Time off. So Kelvin submitted a time off request. So if you look at the top, there's a time off tab here at the top. So you can see all the requests that come in. So if you look at Kelvin right here, here's his right here that he just submitted. And you can see it's approved because I approved it while he was asking, because he's like, hey, it'd be nice to approve it. So yes, I just approved it. If you want to see what that looks like, there's Mark Carter here. This is one that's pending. I'll move my mouse. You can see on the right, it says pending. You can approve or deny that right here, and then that kicks off all the notifications in the background, right? So that's a really easy way to do that. You can also certainly add time off from here if you need to add time off for a specific employee here from this view, okay? So that's time off, quickly done in here. Let's go to a couple other ones here. So the time team, what can you do from inside here? Really, this allows you, this is a great space that sees who's available to track time. Now, depending upon what subscription you have, accounting or not, you can toggle on who's available to track time from this view, but you can also see their last activity. You can resend an invite. So this allows you to understand the workers that are being, that are tracking time. You can invite new workers up on the right here, right? So if you want to invite a new team member, we just added a contractor to the company. So I could easily do invite here. You could do it through email, and then you could do it through text. I haven't filled in her cell phone number, but that would be how that works. Okay. So that's quickly and easily you can invite team members. What does that mean? That means now they'll get an invite so they can start, it'll help them download the Workforce mobile app. And now they're off and running with tracking time very simply. Okay. A couple other quick things I want to mention here. So schedule. Kevin talked about schedule and where his time was. This is the schedule that you can add schedules to, where people are at, what times they're working. There's some things in here to make this easier for you for copying the previous schedule, publishing. So all your scheduling needs are sitting in here. Another one that we use centrally here is who's working. So I'll click on who's working on the top. This gives you a very quick view on that. Let's draw your attention to the right side of the screen, where it shows the 3 folks that are actually working at the moment. So Mike, Mark, and Andrew. Mark has logged in with the mobile device, and I can tell that, right? Here's the little pin that tells him where he's at, and it actually shows on the map where he's actually working. He's just outside of in Boise/Eagle area in Idaho. Okay, So this is really nice if you want to know who's working. Hey, I got a phone call. Someone else needs to go to a job site. Are they on the job site? Where are they at? This is phenomenal, and it integrates seamlessly with the mobile app, obviously. You can see all team members if you want to do. Once again, the same theme of filtering flexibility, how you want to see. You can see the workers that are not on the clock if you really want to see that as well, right? Because I just changed the filter to show all workers, but only the top 3 are. Okay, depends upon what you want to see in your view. So that's a little bit of what goes on here with this tab. Last 2, I just want to go over super quick. Assignments. What assignments does is it allows you to really customize what your folks see when they're clocking in and clocking out. What customers are they assigned so that they can when they clock in and clock out? So remember, when you go to the time entries, and I showed you like the time clock or even single time entry, these customers that sit right here, you can customize which one of your employees see those customers, because maybe they don't need to see a long list if you have a long list of customers. You just want them to show specific ones. Well, how do you do that? You do that through the assignments tab. So this grid at the bottom has all the customers, and you can then say, okay, so for this particular, let's say let's go Bob's Builders, because it's an easier one to talk about. If you look over here on the right, it does not have a checkbox to assign all. So what's happened is that I've gone in and I've said, okay, well, the only person that can actually see that is James. He's the only person who will see that particular customer there. All the other ones are assigned. Every worker sees all the customers. So once again, customize what they see to make it easier for them to clock in and clock out and see which customers they're using or they're assigning time to. Then you also have break preferences in here where you can set break rules. Are breaks automatic during the day? Do they have an automatic break, lunch break? You can have those automatically created on their timesheet. Sometimes those are compliance things, depending upon where your business is at. And you can have whether the break button shows up on their time clock or whether it shows up on their on the mobile device to take breaks. We also have time reports. You see these reports inside. By far the biggest report that we see folks using are these top 2, but payroll is the top one by far. This gives you a very nice view. I'm going to quickly move through this, but in the top right-hand corner, it shows the time period. You can hit run the report, and it gives all the information from a summary view about what's going on during that pay period, and then you can click into the individual folks and get a breakdown of what's going on during that time period, and you can even do some editing from inside here as well. Okay. Now, we've gone through a lot of things, but this account, keep in mind, has been set up. Obviously, we set this up from the very beginning to help through the demo so you guys show some functionality. But if you were new, you would start over at the overview tab. Now, I'm taking you kind of backwards here, but that's important to understand that we've also added an onboarding experience to help you, your customers, get set up with QuickBooks Time quickly and efficiently. These setup tasks, which all show green at the moment, have already been completed, but it allows you to add team members, add customers, invite, and get time approved as quickly as possible. But the thing I also want to call out here is you're not on your own on this. Take advantage of this expert setup that we have. We have a free 60-minute call. You can schedule that for free and click on that, and you can choose a time that helps you, choose a time that you can get set up, right? So that's convenient for you. So you can choose a time on the calendar and be like, hey, yes, I want to do my call at this particular time. And that's a separate tab. So take advantage of that. We want to set you up for success early on, and that is honestly the best way to do it, because then we can help you with tips and tricks along the way that are customized to your business. Okay. So all that is inside the shell. For those of you that are maybe used to QuickBooks Time being a separate product, integrated product, but a separate interface, Jen mentioned this at the very beginning. There is a way to always go back and look at the classic interface, is what we call it. There's a link right here that says go to Classic QuickBooks Time. It opens a separate tab, and this is the interface. If you're a longtime customer, if you're not new, this is the old interface that is still available that you can use, for now, if you find that this is something that you want to fall back to. Okay, so this is still available. And that's available from that link that I mentioned. Okay, I think that's the end of it. And I think we're going to start trying to answer some questions. And I haven't been reading the questions. So hopefully, Jen, I can kind of pass to you for just a second
You're
here
good,
to kind
Mike.
of take questions.
Yeah, totally. I would love to. I would love to. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I realized I was probably drinking from a fire hose, and you probably have lots and lots of questions. And so I would encourage you to please, please, please drop them into the comment section. And Mike and Calvin and I will take them live here. But I first want to start out by thanking you all for answering my first question I had to you, which was, where are you calling in from? And I find it fascinating. We have covered North America here. We've got in the Northeast, Massachusetts, Southeast Florida. We've got Idaho and Texas in the middle of our country. And we've got Oregon and Arizona on the West Coast. And so just thank you for representing the breadth of the United States here. So thank you for joining us. I would love to transition it to, there were a number of really good questions, Kelvin, about the mobile app, particularly maybe starting out with the first one of, is this all live or is this coming soon? Do you mind taking that one?
Yeah, so all that you've seen today are features that are live. And so when I had mentioned things that I'm excited about that are coming soon, like I briefly dropped expense management as well as benefits, those are something that we're excited about in the near future, but they're not live in the app. Hopefully that answers the question.
Love it. And then there was another really good one around, hey, was this just for iOS, like Apple devices, or just for Android? Can you speak a little bit about that, Kelvin?
Yeah, Jen, if you could repeat that question, please. I'm actually getting a little bit of audio lag on my side. Apologies about that.
Sorry. Yes, I was just saying, is this on both iOS and Android? Can you hear me? I'll take that question.
Yeah, so
I know the answer.
all the
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Your audio worked?
Yeah, I think my computer might be overheating, but anyway, that's a personal problem. I'm overworking my computer, but I think I heard the question around are all these features on both iOS and Android? And so the answer to that question is yes. We build features that I've shown today on both iPhones and Android devices. And I think maybe that comment was related to what we call live activities. And so if you're an iPhone user, you might see like, if you're a frequent flyer with United as an example, or Southwest, or even if you've ordered something from Uber Eats, you see this kind of like live activity timer that shows you your progress of your food or maybe the progress of your flight. And so we've built something like that for iPhones, and on Android devices, that same feature is there too. So when an employee clocks into their job, they're going to be able to see, the amount of time that they're currently working, as well as be able to hit that notification and clock out or take a break from that from their lock screen on iOS and Android. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, that does. I'm glad. I hope your computer hangs in there at least for the next 20 minutes, Kelvin. Awesome. And I just want to say thank you, Susan, for asking both of those great questions. Very good clarifying questions there. Next one, Kelvin, I'll give you one more, and then Mike, I'm going to you. So Kelvin, what if our employees are using QuickBooks Time currently? Do they need to do anything to get QuickBooks Workforce?
That's the beauty of the app. So no, the answer is there's nothing to do. All they've got to do is just go to the App Store and download the latest version, and boom, they're going to get QuickBooks Workforce. I will say though, to be very specific on that answer, if you are signing up your clients, or if you're an employer and your clients only and you're only running QuickBooks Time, you're not going to see the pay features on that. So in our SKU lineup, we've got Payroll Core, Payroll Premium, and Elite, and Payroll Premium Elite comes with time tracking, and so that SKU will actually enable your workers to get, or your company and or your workers to get full access to time and pay features in the app.
Brilliant. And thank you, Laura, for asking that great question. That's awesome. All right, Mike, next one is for you. I want to share the love a little bit. And this is from Cindy. And she's saying that she doesn't see all of the columns in her own QuickBooks Time. What could she do about it? You had more columns in your demo than she's got.
Yeah, I will. So there's a selector that allows you to select that. And honestly, I can reshare my screen. I hope it doesn't take too long for it to show up. It took a second or so for it to come up last time, but there is a column selector, and I don't know if you guys can see this yet, but there's a column selector on the far right here that allows you to change which columns you see on the screen. So
little gear icon in the top right.
Yeah, a little gear icon on the top right. It's under like the add time in the time entries. It's right underneath add time. You see a little gear icon. So hopefully this will eventually show up and you can see that.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for the real time. It's way easier to just show than tell. So that's
yeah,
great.
it is. It is. Yeah, here
awesome.
it is.
This
here.
next Very good. Mike, we've got one from Laura saying that she noticed that when she makes revisions, it doesn't update live like she is used to in the classic QuickBooks Time that you were sharing. Can you speak to what she should be expecting?
Yeah, so there's a clock to update that in the background. Like it's there's a timer in the back that's updating that, right? So if you don't see it right away, hit refresh. But it's going to depend upon where you're at in that cycle, right? So if you're at the end of that refresh cycle, you'll probably see it very quickly. If you're not, just hit the refresh button to make sure that you're at the refresh. Now, we're looking to make improvements on that going forward, but that's how it works today.
Awesome. Mike, another one. So we've talked about employees, but what about contractors? Alicia wants to know, can we approve time for contractors here, or do we still need to log into the app?
So I don't know if you can see my screen. Can we see my screen yet?
Yeah, no, just our face. Now we can see your screen. There we go.
So yeah, so you can. So the answer is you can approve time for contractors right in the same screen. So just know that this particular person right here is actually a contractor set up. The rest of them are employees. So yes, you can approve from right there, and I can approve that time from right here. You don't have to go to a separate app. So that's great. It's all centralized right here in one spot.
Totally. Speaking of centralized in one spot, we've got another question from Joanne saying, will time flow through to projects? Mike, can you speak a little to that?
So absolutely, it will flow to projects. So I didn't show that here, but yes, as soon as you approve the time, like we went through, yes, that time, once approved, can be used by projects and project tracking, and it will flow to that. You can see full project costs and everything that you need. So the answer to that is absolutely yes.
Awesome. It's the beauty of having everything in one spot. Not only do you not have to click to another tab, but that data is flowing throughout the QuickBooks ecosystem. So if you're using it for payroll, it's there. If you're using it for projects, it's there. For billable time on invoicing, it's there. And so very thankful to the team on ironing out the details and making sure we're saving you time as you're using this. All right, we've got another one. This one is around scheduling. So the question is, I'm trying to set up schedules for my employees, but the repeat doesn't exclude weekends. So like if they're setting up a recurring thing, do I have to make 5 daily schedules for each employee that repeat on each weekday? Which one of you wants to take this one?
I can take it. So the answer is a weekly. You can assign a weekly repeating series to specific days of the week. So you can exclude the weekends or other days, or include the weekends or other days. There is a setting to be able to exclude certain days. So we can accommodate that, so it's not such a pain. There's a setting for that.
Awesome. So I think those were the questions I saw live coming through, but would just ask that you please, if these answers to your questions prompted more questions, please drop them into the comments. But just to buy you some time as you think of what questions might be top of mind for you, I'd love to ask a question to you, Calvin and Mike, of just of everything you demo, which is a lot of different things, all of which are new. What's your favorite feature that stands out to you?
Calvin, you want me to go first? I can go first. I don't know what your audio is working, but for me, as we start to try to make life for you guys as quick and easy as possible, I get really excited about being able to customize the way you review and edit and approve time, so that you can set it up the way you want, so that you can be very, very efficient as you move through that process, whether it's weekly, biweekly, daily, depending on how you run your business, of course, or how many businesses you have. So to have that flow of data very quickly and very easily, so it's a minutes process rather than multiple minutes or an hour or however long it would take in previous worlds, that gets me excited, because it's something that relieves frustration. Once you get back to doing what you want to do, is probably running your business, and so that's what gets me excited.
Awesome. Calvin, is your audio working?
Yeah, and I'll add on my side. What gets me excited is reducing the amount of friction that employers and their teams face when they need to track time. And so for us, we always want to think about how much unpaid time is someone actually spending tracking their time. And so for us, a time tracking tool is really simple, reliable, and accurate. And one of the favorite features that we recently worked on was that live activities feature that you saw on the lock screen. And so we're always constantly trying to take a look at what are some of the new and exciting interactions that people can do on their mobile devices that they can't do on a desktop browser, or they can't do on a laptop, that we can do on a mobile phone. And we draw inspiration from other apps that are out there. So apps across the ecosystem, across fintech, across other business apps, across travel apps, Uber. We're drawing inspiration from a lot of these different apps to create the best time tracking experience for our employees. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to make it seamless, accurate, and reliable, so that our workers spend less unpaid time tracking their time.
Awesome. Those are two very good answers. Awesome. I also want to applaud you, Mike, on your answer to scheduling. Alicia, glad to hear you figured that one. Saw where you could do the weekday option. So glad this was productive for you.
Perfect.
Awesome. And briefly, I see Sean's question: is this being recorded? So yes, we're streaming live, but this it is being recorded simultaneously, I understand. So we should have that available if you missed something. But if you're asking that question because you have a question on the top of your head that you think we might have already answered, don't hesitate to ask it again. Happy to use the time and answer it live here. Awesome. Let's see. Next questions. I'm still waiting for some to come through. So as we wait for those, and please do pop your questions in. I've got one more for you, Mike and Kelvin. What are you hearing that our customers are liking the most from what you just demoed? We heard your favorites, but I know both of you and your teams have spent so much time engaging with our own customers as you've been developing, rolling these new things out. And so what has been something that's really stood out to you that our customers really like about each of these on QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Workforce?
So I can jump in
take that one first, Mike.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right, cool. Thank you. So one of the things that we hear from our customers and their employees is that they go through so many tools every single day to get their work done, right? And imagine you're a small business employee or you're an employer trying to manage your team. You're going through 5 different tabs, apps, websites, you name it, to manage your team and take care of the team, right? And so one of the things that our main focus for this year and next year is really how can we bring some of these features together in one single app, so that employees and their supervisors or employers never have to leave the app to get their work done. And so for us, it's all about consolidation. It's all about bringing together experiences that like help get work done and help employees prosper. And so in that sense, like, we want to make this kind of like the employee hub. And that's one of the things we've heard from customers over and over again, that like, I've got so many different tools, like just bring them all in one place. You're QuickBooks, you guys all talk to each other. So, like bring them all in and give them to us. So that's what we're working on.
So on the admin side of the house, there's a couple of things. So I hear, obviously we talk to customers all the time, like yourself, and a couple of things that I hear people excited about that are in the product right now, and then I can talk a little bit about what's coming, which is the geofencing. Kelvin showed a little bit about that, obviously on the mobile side, but how that relates into the admin side. It helps employees get more accurate timesheets, right? It helps both employers and employees, is what I would say, get more accurate timesheets as they use the geofencing code. So that's a really technological solution that really helps get more accurate. And obviously that's kind of the goal, is to be more accurate as fast as possible. That dovetails into the who's working map that I showed. A lot of folks love to see who's on the clock and where they're at, depending upon what type of business you have. So that's a big one that people like to see. And then if your workers are all in one place and they're not spread out, maybe they're not distributed at different job sites, but they come to a central location. I didn't show it, but there's also the kiosk application, which is the thing that runs on the kiosk, so that if you have people coming into a specific location, they can clock out, like put an iPad on the wall, and they use that, boom, clock in and clock out as they leave the building. As you start to get that type of scenario where people in one location, a large amount of workers, that's obviously something that's all integrated into this experience as well. So that's some of the things that I hear, other than things we've already talked about, obviously. In the future, we're looking at much better ways to be what I would call better together. So you mentioned work with projects. Someone mentioned that a little earlier. How do we make that process seamless? How do we make working with projects, even deeper integration with payroll, when you manage customers, how you manage employees, to make that all seamless? So that the data is always accurate, it's done in one place, and it's a better together experience. That's all stuff that's that we continue to work on to help you guys out.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to wrap us up. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you, Mike, for sharing with us the latest and greatest product innovations on both QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Workforce, the mobile app. I also want to thank all of you who have joined us for this live stream. Your engagement has been awesome. Your questions have been spot on and prompted some really good answers. And so thank you for that. I also want to reinforce that while that this is not the end of us wanting to dialogue with you, all the innovation that you've seen today is based off of insights from you, from our customers more broadly. And we want to continue listening to what is important to you, what's working well, what isn't working well, where we can improve as we continue to innovate. And so I just encourage you to continue to engage with us. A couple practical ways to engage with us in product and leave us feedback on the web, which Mike was demoing. If you go to time entries inside of QuickBooks Online, you'll see a give feedback experience, a link that you can use, or every about 3 months, you might see a survey prompting you for feedback. And so we'd love for you to spell out what we could do better, where we're doing well, so that we can continue to build on your feedback. Similarly on web, which Kelvin was demoing, we have the experience, a way for you to give feedback there too. And that is if you go to more help, there's a link at the bottom where you can give feedback. So please do continue to engage with us. We love to hear from you. We read all of your comments and take them very seriously, and they inspire the innovation that we work on. So thank you so much for engaging with the latest and greatest product innovation from QuickBooks Time and QuickBooks Workforce. This is Jen, Kelvin, and Mike signing off. Have a great day.
Thanks all.
Thank you.